I'm not hearing music, but welcome to the BCWSA Utility Services Baseball Insider Show presented by Wapner Newman. I'm John Brazer, Director of Fun and Games, and joined by my partner in crime, the great Tommy Greene. Tommy, how you doing?
That's a good way of putting it, my friend. Partner in crime.
Partner in crime, you know.
I'm doing great. And by the way, the music was working on my end. So
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I heard the beginning of it, but we're all good. Tommy, how you doing?
Hanging in there, man. Trying to stay out of the heat. It looks like it's an overcast day here back at home near your house.
Yeah.
It's an overcast day and not as hot, but muggy. So,
and did Bernie Pront give you that?
Absolutely scorching.
Did Bernie Pront give you that shirt right there you're wearing?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I always try to support Bernie when I can, man. I miss him dearly. What a great man.
Well, the Flyers have been in the news because they did a qualified offer to Leo Carlsson, who's a 21-year-old center, would be perfect for the Flyers. And the Mighty Ducks have to match it. It would be $18 million per year for 5 years. That's a lot of money in the hockey world. So
that sounds like your salary, Braze.
Exactly. I wish it was my salary. But I am wearing my Grateful Dead America 250 T-shirt, right, with the dancing bears. And we had a good 4th of July. Yesterday we were here at the beach, and Avalon has fireworks on the beach. So after spending all day getting out of the 100-degree weather, being on the beach and being able to go to the water, we kept our chairs down there, and absolutely spectacular fireworks show at the beach here in Avalon. So how about yourself? What was your 4th of July?
Oh, it was good. We just laid low, man. It's one of the first years we ever done that, and we enjoyed the calmness, so to speak, and not getting out and getting too hot in the heat. A little bit. We went outside a couple times, but we were like, we were out in it the day before. It was 102 or 3 degrees, whatever it was, and you don't need to be out that all the time like that, man. So I had enough of it the day before, so we had a good day. Cooked a little dinner and then enjoyed the time in.
Did you grill?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I did. I grilled a little bit and kept it simple, but it was good. And how about you? Did you grill?
We did. We grilled burgers and dogs. Kept it very simple. We've got 6 teenagers in the house.
You had to do that. You had to do that with them.
And if you count my boy Ibs, he counts as a teenager, so we had 7.
Well, make sure, I was getting ready to say, make sure you tell the family friends I said hello.
I will. Tom, we got a great show today. We're going to talk about the week in baseball. Fighting Phils they split a 4-game series with the Pirates, and then they won their first game against the Royals. Did not have a game Friday night because World Cup was taking place in Philadelphia, the last World Cup game in Philadelphia, where France basically squeaked by Paraguay. So it was a very good game. But this World Cup is getting pretty intense, Tom. I don't know if you've been watching it all, but it's pretty fun.
You're going to have to explain it a little bit to me, Brace. What's happening a little bit? What I last heard, the U.S. seems to be playing okay. That's the last thing I heard.
Well, the U.S. is playing very well. They had a really tight contest where it was a little touch and go because we had a 1-0 lead. I think we might have a picture right here, and the USA star striker it looked like inadvertently hit right here. We go. So it looked like now right there on a still shot or in slow motion, it looks like he's going for that back of the left ankle. But it was when you look at it in real time, there's no way that should have been when you get a red card, that is something that's intentional, that you're looking to get somebody back or you're intentionally trying to injure a player. This was
a red card right here you got?
That was a red card, and it was called after the fact. And it was just terrible call. Brazilian referee. And again, that's our star. That's the star of the USA team, the striker. I can't even pronounce his name. I think it's Bagdalin. And unfortunately, he's out for the next game. He's out. We have a big match coming up. So, but you look here, Messi had the almost exact same situation where he stepped on the
Oh,
back of a player. You can see it right there, and he did hit the back of his ankle, foot. But I guess the World Cup's got to protect the star player,
no question. No
Lionel
question about
Messi,
that,
and
Braze. He's Messi. The name's on his back.
he's Messi. So yes,
Yeah.
so the USA team will be playing Belgium without their star striker. So they have a guy named Pepe, Pepi, Pepe, who will jump in, but it's going to be a team effort to. But it's really a shame because the emotion has been great, but this Bagdalin, again I'm mispronouncing it, has been unbelievable, really unbelievable. So it's
Yeah.
he's been the main scorer for the US Team USA. So hopefully we can do that. But I think, as I mentioned last time, I think the World Cup being in the United States has been a big boon for the image of the country, I think for the fans everywhere. I mean, they've sold out more tickets than any World Cup in history. And as you know, it's not only throughout America where there's games in New Jersey, games in Philadelphia, games in Boston, games in Florida, games in Dallas, games to the West Coast, San Fran, and again, what I love about it is that a lot of these foreigners, Europeans especially, are coming to the States and they're finding Buc-ee's and they're finding Waffle House and they're discovering free refills and
Classic
Walmart's.
Waffle House, man.
I'm telling you, it's absolutely tremendous. Like Buc-ee's, like they'll go into Buc-ee's and completely go nuts on the beef jerky counter with all the different beef jerkies you get, or they'll get the Buc-ee's, it's a squirrel, I guess, right, and get the big squirrel outfit.
Yeah,
It's pretty funny to see, so good for that. So
Waffle House, the greasy spoon, man.
well, you can't beat the Waffle House, right?
Well,
See, a
smother
lot of things
cover,
we take things for granted
flip,
here.
flop, top, everything else.
Right. Again, and Buc-ee's and all that. So it's been fun watching that. But again, the USA plays Belgium, and actually, I think we are ranked ahead of Belgium in the World Cup rankings. But we'll see. They've got to obviously do it on the field. And they're going to be without their star player. So hopefully they can.
Well, that's why they call it a team. You got when something happens, it could be. You got to look at it. I think the teammates has got to look at it like what if it was an injury laden event, unless it being something like that. Teams got to rally together to pick him up. And
well, it's like the Eagles.
That's why they call it a team.
The Eagles. Carson Wentz goes down, and then in comes Nick Foles. Right? Yep. They had to rally around Nick Foles, and look at Nick Foles did. So
you never know what'd you say the name was? Pepe. Yeah, Pepe. Yeah, Pepe might come in and dominate. You never know.
Right, and then the guy could be Walter Pipped, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Wally Pipped.
Wally Pipp. I think so. Who's Walter?
Yeah, Wally Pipped. All right, let's go through the week in Phillies baseball because again, I think it was a successful week. You went 3 for 2, right? You didn't have a couple games.
Well, I mean, I go by Sunday to Sunday, because we do the show before the games, and for the week we were 4 and 2. So,
okay.
From Sunday to they haven't played the game yet today, so Sunday to Saturday is 6 games. We had an off day, so
take a 4-2 every time. But on Monday, we'll start with Monday. The Phils lose a tough one, 11-7 to the Pirates. Now, I tell you what, the Pirates, even though Skeens, and we'll get into Skeens later, Skeens is not pitching well at all.
No, not of late.
But you're still facing that. This is a young team that has some really good young players, impressive.
They're a pain in the butt. They score some runs. They're like Washington now. The Nationals are basically leading baseball in runs scored and stuff like that. I mean, they're a formidable foe. They can put some runs on the board and hurt you.
Well, and they've got this Merlin Valdez. Had you heard of Merlin Valdez before this season? No, right? But they've got they got Colton Griffin. They got some players that are young players that are doing well, and even their pitching staff as well. Besides Skeens, everyone knows Skeens, but there's a lot of other guys they have. So they're not an easy out at all. Pirates used to be an easy out. They are not an easy out right now.
Well, that's what's so great about the game, Brace. I mean, you still got to go out there and play the game, and these young guys are coming. Even today's stars like Harper and Schwarber, they got their start as young guys, and they had to come in and do the job. And that's what these guys are getting a chance to do. And that's how their name, say to speak, the guys who are the superstars today got their name. They had to start playing well, and it starts somewhere. And they got some athletes on that team. Connor Griffith, their guy, our shortstop's an athlete.
Oh,
he's
a
lot of ball player.
There's a lot of impressive young players in the game right now. I mean, there really is. And it seems that these young kids are establishing themselves earlier than before, or at least it seems that way. These kids are coming in.
Well, they're getting opportunity, Brace. There's not, it's not like the old days, so to speak, where
you got to pay your dues in the minors.
Veteran-laden teams all the time, and the young guys that are playing well in the minor leagues or don't get the opportunity because the veterans in front of them. Now they find, if you're playing well, they find a way to get you here.
Yep.
I mean, and move you. And there's other teams that, being with the way the stuff, collective bargaining agreements and stuff, what we fought for in years past, minor league free agency and stuff like that, gives these young guys a chance, to do things, which is a great thing. So, I mean, the influx of young guys is a good thing.
I agree. So, but the Monday night, Phillies lost 11-7, and the Phillies jumped out to a 2-0 lead. They had home runs by Turner and Marsh. And how about Marsh? Marsh is he doesn't stop. He is
he's done well. A little slower week this week than he had in previous, but and it's just like a sign of a good team, which we're showing we can be. Turner has picked it up over the last couple of weeks, hitting like 333. So I mean, picking each other up, and it's a good sign.
Well, we went up 5-0 in the third. Schwarber had a sac fly, 2-run home run by Harper. So basically, we had 3 home runs, before the fourth inning. Then, unfortunately, Pirates scored 6 in the fifth, and they did that on a home run, a sac fly, an RBI single, a bases loaded walk, and several runs as a result of errors. So sloppy on the pitching mound, but also sloppy out in the field. We did get 2 back on a Marsh home run, Real Muto single, but then Pirates came right back, 3 straight off. They got 3 runs off Sugar in the ninth and on a 3-run home run by Rodriguez. So it's a little odd because when the Phillies have offense like where they're going, they had 4 home runs. 3 guys had 2 hits, Crawford, Turner, and Marsh. But Turner or Nola had the story of the game was Nola had a tough outing. He went 4 1/3.
Well, he had a tough inning. He tends to have that one inning, Braze. We've seen that over the past couple of years now. It seems that one inning jumps up and bites him. And the bullpen wise, I mean, the Phillies have got some things to address.
Yep.
I think during the break and stuff like that before the end of the month, and it's going to be exciting to see what they do or if they do anything. But also it's great to see the team picking each other up.
Yep.
The offense scoring the runs they have this past week. They're averaging over 6 runs a ball game, even though the pitching staff had a 4.5 ERA. Not necessarily everybody was pitching bad, but we were giving up 4.5 runs a game, but we were scoring 6. So, I mean, that's a great thing. So I mean, to see that happen and we giving ourselves a chance to win ball games and out, come back and hit some home runs and making it exciting for people to watch too, scoring the runs. They love that.
Well, the Phil's going to have to figure out, hopefully Nola is a veteran. He's an innings eater. Hopefully he can kind of settle down because right now it's kind of carrying over from last year, whereas ERAs, he's got a 6.04 ERA. Again, he gave up 8 hits, 8 runs, 7 of those earned, gave a couple walks. But, what's always been Nola's trouble is, as you said, usually that one inning, but and the home runs. He gives up the home runs. So,
I don't mind home runs if they're solo.
Right.
It tends to be crooked number of home runs with him, a little bit. The 2 and 3 run, kind of kill you,
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're hoping that he finds some way to, because he started off that game throwing the ball pretty good down in the zone, getting ground balls, and LA was saying something about it too online, how well he was doing that. And LA's been, every time you hear see Nola pitching at his home, LA says something. He's got to stay down in the zone. He can't afford to get up and miss over the plate, because he tends to get caught. So that's I think that it's got to be his game plan. Is he going to make mistakes? Yeah. So,
but it's just limiting those mistakes.
Yes, I mean, hopefully the mistakes. Usually, if you start staying down in the zone more and stuff like that, sometimes, and you're out of the middle of the plate, up and over the plate more often, you tend to get away. Hopefully, with some of that mistakes every now and then, realizing they get hit all the time.
Yep. Balogun, by the way, is the way to pronounce it. I'm not sure if I was close, but Balogun. And Tommy, winners win. Wapner Newman has been winning for families throughout the Philadelphia area and New Jersey since 1978. You need a winner? Call Wapner Newman at 215-569-0900 or visit wapnernewman.com. Coming up on the show, Tommy, we got through one of the games. Let's go through the rest of the Pirates series. And at some point, we're going to give you all-star updates. We're going to give you the lineup for today's game against Kansas City. We'll get to a lot of either some unique stories, including a brawl that took place. You're listening to BCWSA Utility Services Baseball Insider Show presented by Wapner Newman.
When everything's on the line, who do you want to take the last shot?
If you've been injured, call Wapner Newman.
Go with the heavy hitters.
Lawyers with the resources and experience to fight for you.
Win with Wapner.
The correct call.
This is Tommy Greene from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. BCWSA Utility Services wants to make sure you stay informed when it matters most. In rare situations like a water main break, boil water notice, or other service issues, BCWSA uses an emergency notification system to send alerts by phone, text, or email. But they can only reach you if your contact information is up to date. Visit bcwsa.net and click Update Your Contact Information to get started. BCWSA Utility Services.
You're sitting at a red light. Your phone buzzes. Direct deposit hit. You imagine what a little extra could do. Groceries covered. Weekend trip booked. Starting that someday fund. At Penn Community Bank, we know growth can look different, whether it's big plans or just a little breathing room. Right now, open a qualifying checking account with direct deposit and earn a $400 bonus. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/400bonus. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offer subject to change. Ask for full details. Member FDIC. You're sitting at a red light.
Tommy, you're really good on that guitar. It's
yeah.
When did you start playing?
I wish I could.
Yeah, that would be nice too. We went to a party and my Ibs got up there and played with my buddy George.
Well, Ibby can play
in front of a couple hundred people on the right on the bay. It was pretty awesome.
Ibby can play. Believe it or not, you can tell him this too. Give him a little jolt. Never know by looking at him that he can do it. Yeah?
Right. Sneaky good. All right.
He's awesome. Tell him I said, hey, man, Mitch,
I will. We are back to BCWSA Utility Service Baseball Insider Show presented by Wapner Newman. And Tommy, still gorgeous down here. It's a little, it's cooled off a little bit. So,
good.
And I think we're going to
get heat that much anyway, Braze. You're dark enough.
Well, I think we're going to get rain a couple of days, so I'll be forced inside. All right, so we came off a tough loss on Monday, but then on Tuesday, it was the exact opposite. We won 8-0. Good to see. Sanchez was not poor the last 2 or 3 outings, but he wasn't his dominating self.
Well, it's human. It's hard to do that all the time.
Yeah. Yep. And so he won 8-0. Phillies won 8-0. And Sanchez allowed 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 7 innings, struck out 9. He walked 2. So good to see Sanchez settle in. And we'll get to the All-Star because all the reserves and starters came out. We'll get that next segment. But it looks like to me, because I think Miz was basically his prime competitor to see who's going to start. Now, you would think Sanchez would have an inside track game in Philadelphia. They're both having great years. But it looks like Miz is going to be pitching a couple days before the All-Star game. So that would knock him out. My guess is knock him out as a starter and setting up perfectly for Sanchez to pitch in the All-Star game, which would be great tribute for Philadelphia, great tribute for him, pitch in front of a lot of his home fans, get the national recognition he deserves. So it'll be pretty good. So we'll get into the All-Star.
Yeah, Brazer. I mean, it all depends on of the type schedule they try to keep Miz on, when his
bullpen
side days are and stuff like that. That his normal routine is if he's going to be able to possibly pitch in there. So it's going to be interesting to who they choose. Both of them are well deserving of it, and it would be great if Sanchez got it since we're playing in Philly. That'd be awesome.
Yep, that'd be pretty cool. And who had a big game on Tuesday? It's good to see. Is Crawford? Had a really good game. He had a 2-run single in the second, which jumped out the Phillies to a lead. Ends up being the game-winning hit. He had doubled to lead off the sixth. He laid down a perfect sac bunt, I should say, in the seventh to move Derek Hall, who eventually scored. And he added an RBI single in the eighth. So that's really good to see Justin Crawford, come up with that big game. Because
actually, Brace, he led the week in batting average this week. He led the team.
Yep.
He was 8 for 22, I think. He had a real good week. So it's good to see him kind of heating up a little bit right here and doing some positive things.
So for the Bull Session, the other TV or the other radio show we do, maybe he's in the running for the Wapner Newman Player of the Week. I know we still have one more game right before.
Yeah.
So maybe our man Rob Miller is gonna pick Justin Crawford.
I see the way Rob goes this time.
Well, it's nice to to switch it all up, and it just shows you that if that's the case, that all guys contributing. Because last week it was Derek Hill. Sorry. Also had a big game was Turner, and Turner's starting to heat up. He's been heating up for about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yes, the last 2 weeks he's been hot.
Yep. So on Tuesday it was his 33rd birthday. So of course, what does he do? He goes 2 for 5, 2 runs scored, 3 RBI, a home run. So good for Trey Turner for doing that on his birthday. Do you think do you get amped up? Tommy, did you ever pitch on your birthday?
Good question. My birthday's April 6th, and it's hard to remember. That a lot of times when we pitched, we didn't start the season to the first week of April.
Right.
We never started in March, so it's hard. I can't remember, so I wasn't opening day guy. So if I did
I guess my question was, do you think you get a little more juice knowing it's your birthday? You get a little more self-energy, I guess, because obviously Turner gave it to himself on Tuesday.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I've never thought about it that way. Different dates and, what certain dates mean to you, and that type of thing. Do you get more juice? I just think baseball players are creature of habit, and they tend to, they got there for a reason, and they sort of stick to their routine without trying.
Right.
They don't need the motivation to do anything. You know what I mean? So I think about it like that.
Okay. So again, Bolin and Trevino, we brought up Trevino from AAA, who contributes to the shutout. So good overall win on Tuesday. And then we go to Wednesday, and we'll stay with Trey Turner because he continued his hot streak. He had a 3-run home run during a 5-run second inning. So Phil's jump out, and this is all against Paul Skeens, last year's Cy Young Award winner, right? So he lasted 4 innings. He allowed 6 hits. Phil's got on for 7 earned runs. He has not won in his last 9 starts. How about that? He's not won his last 9 starts.
Well, that's hard to fathom, a little bit. I mean, and that just goes to show you the game's not that easy. He made it look easy for a while sometimes, and then you start
make an adjustment.
keeping you honest. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you go through these struggles. It's like our golf game, Braze.
Right.
Yeah, you got sometimes you go through and it seems pretty easy. You go through, start hitting it good, and all of a sudden, where'd it go? Yeah. So you got to try to figure it out again.
Well, the first loss on his personal slide was against the Phillies in Pittsburgh on May 17th.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because before May 17th, for that game, right, before we sent him on this slide, Skeens was 6-2. He had a 1.98 ERA. He had a 0.64 WHIP. He had a 145 opponent batting average, and he allowed 4 home runs. In basically a month, almost 2 months of baseball, right?
Yeah.
Since then, he is 0 for 5. He's got a 4.40 ERA. He's got a 1.
Which is not horrible, which is not horrible.
But by Skeen standard, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And a 1.35 WHIP, 266 batting average, and he's given up 5 home runs. So it's a tale of two cities. That the Phillies had a big, the bookend of that, of the first start of the bad streak, and then just capped it off on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is good. It's good they, say to speak, found a little bit of, say to speak, kryptonite for him a little bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Because he was Superman for a while.
Yeah, and I don't know whether it's a tired arm, whether the hitters are making an adjustment. And as you said earlier, that it's all about adjustments. No matter how good you are,
it's adjustments, and you're talking major league hitters too, and obviously he's got great stuff, but it's also about his command. Is he missing over the plate, and we're taking advantage. They've seen him some numerous times now.
Yeah.
And the more they get a chance to see you, the better chance they got to having better ABs against you. So that can happen.
Well, Bohm continued to say hi, or I'm sorry, Marsh continued to say hi. Home run in the 3rd. Yeah. Bohm hit a 2-run home run in the 8th. Good to see that. Again, we need everybody contributing. Kerkering had 5 straight outs in the 7th and 8th. Good to see that. And then Duran obviously got his 22nd save in the 9th. So
Kerkering's going to be a big. Kerkering's going to be a big tool
piece. Well, he's a big piece
of our bullpen to help bridge the gap to Duran. We got to add him. Have him pitching on all, going on all cylinders, and it's going to be like we talked about already about possibly getting something that to help our bullpen at the end to help bridge that gap.
Well, especially you don't really know Keller's situation, right? Keller is our big acquisition. Who know? We assume he's going to come back healthy and back, but and Alvarado's kind of been good for the most part. He's had a couple blow-ups, but and then it's tough to see what you're going to get from Bolins and the Sugarts and the Mazes and guys that really haven't proved it for a long time. Certainly not here. So we'll see.
I mean, you got to ride the wave sometimes, and that's what you got to find out what you got, and that's why you play the season. And find, and they sort of find their roles, a little bit more, not necessarily that the only person that really got a role down there is Duran.
Right.
He's our closer.
And Kerkering and Alvarado kind of have their roles for the most part.
For the most part, but still you go through times where guys don't pitch well and other guys have got to step up. So that's what's got to happen.
All right, let's go to Thursday before we go to break. But that pesky Esmeralin Valdez tripled, singled, knocked in 2 runs. Also, we were victimized by Andy Rodriguez and Nick Gonzalez, who homered. We lost a 6-1 game. This is on Thursday. It was a day game in Philly, high 90s, if not even worse. Phillies made a great PR move by an error mark by giving out free water at the game. But that certainly did not slow the Pirates because the Pirates had 14 hits and the Phillies only had 4. So Ron held his own. He didn't last long. He threw 90 pitches in 4 innings, but he only gave up 3 hits, 4 walks. He did have 4 walks, and he had 4 Ks, and he left with a 1-0 lead. So you can't pin it on him. And because of the hot weather, Jared Jones, who's the starter for the Pirates, he didn't last very long. He lasted only 4 innings, gave up 2 hits and 6 Ks. But they get into our bullpen early, and they tied it in the 5th against Mesa. In the 7th, they took the lead off Jose Alvarado with 2 runs. They added 2 in the 8th off Trevino and a run against Bacchus. And But the story of the day is the Phillies only had 4 hits, and you're not going to win with 4 hits. And it just seems that we have these big offensive outings or great pitching matchup or great pitching outings, but then we have these duds, where we get 4 hits, we get 5 hits, we get 1 run, we get 0 runs.
Brazer, let me add a little bit to that real quick before we go on break. One of the best pitching staffs, as far as stuff wise, in the big leagues, the Pittsburgh Pirates have got their starting staff has got probably some of the best stuff in the big leagues.
Yeah.
So you run against a guy that like that, and Ashcraft, and and Skeens, and guys like
Jones,
that, and Chandler. Those guys, I mean, they can put you to sleep on a certain day.
Yeah.
So us not getting hit doesn't surprise me sometimes, because we have that tendency when we face some guys that are on not really doing a lot. So.
Yeah. Time's running out. Game's on the line. Who do you want taking the last shot? You want Wapner, Newman, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey's premier medical malpractice and injury attorney since 1978. Call 215-569-0900 or visit WapnerNewman.com. All right, Tommy, coming up on the show, we'll get to the one Kansas City game that we played. We'll talk a lot of All-Star. We'll get to you who the starters are, who the reserves are, which Phillies were announced, and it was pretty cool. If you saw, I don't know, on the social media, Don Mattingly called out all the guys that made the All-Star team. It was pretty cool to see, the reaction of the players, especially for some of the guys. So we'll talk about that when we get back. You're listening to BCWSA Utility Services Baseball Insider Show, presented by Wapner Newman.
When everything's on the line, who do you want to take the last shot?
If you've been injured, call Wapner Newman.
Go with the heavy hitters.
Lawyers with the resources and experience to fight for you.
Win with Wapner.
The correct call.
Whenever.
Hey, WBCB listeners, it's Tommy Greene from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Reliable water service doesn't happen by accident. It takes ongoing investments to help deliver clean water and manage wastewater every day. BCWSA Utility Services continues to upgrade and modernize its treatment facilities to strengthen infrastructure throughout Bucks County. These improvements help ensure safe, dependable service for families, businesses, and communities. Learn more about BCWSA's investments at bcwsa.net. BCWSA Utility Services.
You're sitting at a red light. Your phone buzzes. Direct deposit hit. You imagine what a little extra could do. Groceries covered. Weekend trip booked. Starting that someday fund. At Penn Community Bank, we know growth can look different, whether it's big plans or just a little breathing room. Right now, open a qualifying checking account with direct deposit and earn a $400 bonus. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/400bonus. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offer subject to change. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
All right, we are back to BCWSA Utility Services Baseball Insider Show, presented by Wapner Newman. And as I mentioned before we went to break, that we'll get through the game on yesterday. Phillies win 6-1. Again, we it feels like this pendulum keeps going back and forth. Good game, bad game, good game, bad game. This is a very good pitching performance, which is very good to see by the Phil's third starter, Luzardo. Great game. Struck out 9 in 6 innings, gave up 1 earned run, 4 hits, no walks, which is key.
Yeah. Right from the start, you could see what kind of stuff he had that day.
Yeah, and he's got nasty
stuff.
I mean,
and everything. So
you got to, sometimes we take for our own guys for granted, but when you look, if you can compare Luzardo to any third starter around the league, he would, I'm sure, be in the upper tier. Right?
No question. No
rotation.
Question.
So he's got the stuff to be a number one. It's just more about consistency sometimes. So, but also our bullpen came through because Bolin, Kirkring, and Meza all pitched 1 shutout inning each, and we had power. We had a stat. What was it, like 47% of the Phillies' runs were produced by a home run, which is which is good, but you better hit home runs, right? Because if that
Well,
if you're not hitting home runs, it shows on the flip side we're not manufacturing the runs as much as we'd like. But in this one, Real Muto, Rincones, and Bohm all hit home runs, and the Phillies won 6-1. So against a scuffling Kansas City team, but still they've got a young roster, and they've got probably one of the best players in the game in Bobby Witt Jr.
Well, it's good to see. I mean, Bohm's starting to wake up, and some of this stuff and doing some positive. Doing some positive things too. He's playing some pretty good defense over at third too. But to see Rincones, that's the guy.
Yep.
That's been sort of the questions our right field play. And for him, he had a very good game yesterday, and it's good to see that. That's not going to do nothing but add to his confidence and to feel like he belongs here. If you feel like you belong here, you're giving yourself a better, opportunity and confidence to go out there and have a good ball game and put good swings on the baseball.
Yeah, and he's got an opportunity to play himself into a role.
He's got plenty of power. So
right, and if he can get consistent and really show that he's a major leaguer, then maybe we're not as desperate to go out and get a right-handed bat at the deadline.
See him get hot here the last few games and see what happens. They're still going to. I still think they're going to try to do something to get a right-handed bat. Somehow.
Well, it's interesting. This is a little under the radar move, and he's old. He's not the same as he was. But Tommy Pham was signed to a minor league contract last week. And we'll see how he does in AAA. And, I'm not saying he's the answer, but at least he could be a potential answer. But you're right. I think Dombrowski's going to be looking at outfielder. He could be looking at a starter. Again, seeing how Nola does the next 3 weeks. We might need some insurance if we feel that it's not coming from the minor leagues.
Yes.
And you could also see a bullpen addition, as you mentioned. If you want one more solid guy, man, you can go out and get Sonny Gray if you want to. But you're gonna have to give up a lot of pieces. You can, how about
Sonny Gray can pitch, man. He's done it for a long time. He can pitch.
Sonny Gray can pitch, and there's a lot of. I know you hear these, Trout and some of the other guys would be Brian Buxton from Minnesota, who's having an all-star year.
That's going to cost you
a lot. It's going to cost you a lot. All right, so let's talk about the all-star game because, as you know, the Phillies had it in 1960. Well, they had it in 76. I think they had it in the 50s at one point. Maybe it was even 1950, in 1976, and then we had it in 1996, and then Dave Montgomery. Because we're the new ballpark, 2004 is the first year at Citizens Bank Park. Major League Baseball likes to show off the new ballparks and reward those organizations that have made that investment. And Dave Montgomery, to his credit, always thought about the city first, and he said we should do the All-Star Game in 2026 because it'll be the 250th anniversary of the country. Now he made that decision. He kept that decision even though he was very sick. And kudos to Dave, just again, the most selfless guy you could have met.
What a great man.
Great man. And again, he put his, he wasn't thinking about himself. He basically said the city deserves to have the spotlight on in 2026. And good for David. And it's going to be pretty cool. And, there's going to be Fan Fest. There's going to be the Futures game. And they're going to have the home run hitting contest. And we still don't know who's going to be in it. Kyle Schwarber last year won it in dramatic fashion. And then he literally took an overnight took a plane that was in Atlanta, right? So he took a late plane. I think he went to the Jersey Shore. I think he went to Avalon. So, and now that it's here, I guess some of these guys can still kind of commute back and forth to the shore if they want to.
Yeah.
So, but we have let's go through, let's see if we can show the starters for each team. I know we have the graphic for that. But it'll be interesting when we go through the lineup here. I want to see who has Tom, you got to kind of evaluate who's got the matchup advantage. So National League starters, Juan Soto, forget that play he made last week in the field, which was atrocious. But Juan Soto, I think I'm sure he has probably the best OPS in National League. But he is your left fielder. You got Paez for the Dodgers. He's had a great year, unbelievably.
Yes,
Then Marsh, was the leading hitter, batting average in the National League. Tailed off a little bit from average.
It's good to see those. It's good to see those two guys, get in like that because they deserve that. They've had the type of first halves that they deserve to be there.
Right, you're exactly right. So then you look at some other. Max Muncy is one of many Dodgers to be on this team. Obviously brings a lot of power. C.J. Abrams from the Nationals. He was part of the Soto trade.
Yes.
And has just been that trade's actually worked out for the Nationals, or it's worked out for both teams, I guess. And then Ozzie Albies, who last year was injured a lot, and he's come back. He provides a little pop too from that side.
Yes, he does.
He's
a good ball player.
And then you got Freddie Freeman, who, even at his age, he might be the guy. Tommy, if you were down by a run with the bases loaded, 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth in the World Series, and you literally could pick anybody to be up at bat, right? I think I'm picking Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman just is clutch.
That is not a bad call right there. I mean,
he puts the bat on the ball. He's just
flat out hit.
He's your consummate ball player. No matter how old he gets.
He goes to all fields. He goes to all fields. He's got power too. It's like Soto. Soto's the same way. You know? But Soto tends to rub you raw. That's why we don't like it.
Right. Well, then the catcher is Baldwin for Atlanta. He's a young player, and it just seems the Braves have just a really good history of catchers. They just have a long line of good catchers, and Drake Baldwin is the latest. And then Ohtani is a DH. Unfortunately, he beat out he's probably the only guy in the game could beat out Schwarber for a starting position in the All-Star game.
I didn't look at Ohtani's numbers as far as a DH wise, but
well, he doesn't have the home runs. Obviously, Schwarber has, but he just he's
his
got
average is better,
and his average is better. Obviously he's DHing, he's not pitching. We don't think he's pitching, but putting up phenomenal stats. So that's a pretty good lineup. Soto, I don't even know. I can't even take a crack at what the lineup would be. I guess you could have Soto leading off, right?
Or the center fielder leading off, either one. So
or the center fielder. Ohtani probably would be at 2, maybe Freddie Freeman at 3. All right, then let's go Soto at 4. And then you could have Muncy at 5, and then probably Albies, then Marsh Abrams or Abrams Marsh.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. All right, so let's go to the National League starter or the American League starters, which we now this is not a bad team either. You got Mike Trout, who obviously the Phillies would love to have.
Now he's back healthy enough to play.
I think he's back, so he should be good. Or if he's not back, he's close to being back, and he'll be well back.
Judge?
Before Judge will not. Well, Judge is not. I don't think he's back. Is he? I think he's out for a while.
I haven't seen
but he got voted in as a starter
the other day.
I don't think Judge will be back in for this. But Buxton is happening. We talked about him before, having a great year. Junior Caminero. Let me just tell you.
How about him?
He
one
plays
of the best
in
young
Tampa.
hitters in the game.
Yeah, he plays in Tampa. So a lot of people don't see him, but he's hit home runs in 5 consecutive games. He's the youngest player since 1900 to have 5 consecutive games. Only 3 others have done it before their 23rd birthday, and that would be Jack Clark, Brian McCann, and Ronald Acuna Jr. And it's the most by a Tampa Ray since Carlos Pena went deep 6 straight games. So, he is one of those games that flies under the radar because he's in Tampa. Certainly in Philadelphia, we don't see the American League as much. Then you go to the next guy, and if you're literally going to build a team, if they just started the league over and the Phillies had the first pick picking anybody based on ability, based on age, based on position. Bobby Witt Jr. might be your number one pick, again,
Yes.
based on all those factors. Ernie Clement had the most votes of anybody. Got to give him a shout out because he's my UVA boy, right?
Well,
He went to
UVA.
UVA.
Well, I think the whole country of Canada got behind him.
Oh yeah, I've never met Ernie Clement, but he is the UVA product. It's great to see. Vlad Guerrero Jr. Obviously absolute legend, right? Him and his dad. One of the best players in baseball is the DH, Jordan Alvarez. He's got tremendous power.
How about the year he's having, and also how hot he is lately? It's unbelievable.
You're exactly right. So this is a tough lineup too. And then Shea Langler's part of the just great young lineup, Kurtz and others for the A's. A's continue to draft well, sign well, trade well. It is for a team just like Tampa that has limited resources, they continue to get it done from a player.
They do. That's shocking. I mean, not shocking. I mean, they tend, their scouting department or whatever, they tend to find great athletes.
Yep.
To go out there and get it done. And they reinvent. They're not afraid to bring their young guys up and play either. So
they work within the margins. Let's go to the reserves, then we'll go to break. But we'll start with the American League. Now, again, know that each team has to have at least one player, which just comes into play for some of these guys. But Dylan Dingler, can't say I know too much about him with the Tigers. Adley Rutschman, longtime catcher for the Orioles. They got Travis Bazzana. They got Nick Kurtz. I mentioned him before. Bazzana with Cleveland. McGonigal, Philly product. One of the great young players in the game. Rice. He's with the Yankees, correct? That's Ben Rice.
Yeah, he's had a good year.
Miguel Vargas, White Sox. Rosarina from Seattle. Cody Bellinger, Riley Green, Yandy Diaz, Baker. I don't know who that is. Tommy, can you help? No,
I'm trying to
think
about it because I don't see a lot of the American League.
Chris Ermer will do some research on that. Dylan Cease, Aroldis Chapman just doesn't get old. He's Benjamin Button, and then he'd be a nice addition. It would cost you a lot for the Fighting Phils. Then we got Jacob Latz of the Rangers. Messick's another one. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's Cody Rasmussen. Joe Ryan from the Twins, he's had a great year. Schlittler. I don't want to get beat here.
He's the Yankees.
Yeah, I know. Cam. Yeah, he might be the starter. He might be the starter for the American League.
Yeah.
Based on stats. Kate Smith, not Kate Smith. She's not singing the national anthem or God Bless America. Cade Smith for the Guardians. Look at this. Our buddy Ranger Suarez.
How about Ranger?
Varland.
He's quietly going about his business as he always does.
Always does. And Michael Walker with the Royals are real quick for the National League Reserves. You have William Contreras with the Brewers. You got Hunter Goodman with the Rockies. Luis Arez, all he does is hit, but just keeps getting traded to a different team. With the Giants, you got Bryce Harper. You got Otto Lopez. He's having a great year, man. He talk about a young.
He should be your friggin' starter.
Your young unsung guy for the Marlins. You got Matt Olson. You got Stewart. I'm trying to think which Stewart that is. You got Corbin Carroll for the Diamondbacks, good young player. Yeah. Pico Armstrong could be the leading contender for the MVP this year. Got off to a slow start, but he's been incredible. Chicago Cubs. Jordan Walker having a very good year at the Cardinals. James Wood bringing the power for the Nationals. Kyle Schwarber. Chase Burns, one of the great young pitchers. Reds. Duran, obviously lights out for the Phils. Iglesias, one of the I think they have three bullpen guys. Duran, Iglesias for the Braves, and Mason Miller from the Padres.
Yeah. Max
Meyer for the Marlins is having he's 9-1 with a 2.53 ERA. He's getting it done. Mason Miller, again, he'll be eighth inning or ninth inning. He and Duran. You got the Miz. The Miz will be, this is a tough pitching match. Chris Sale, Christopher Sanchez, Skeens, it's still Skeens. Logan Webb, Giants, and Yamamoto, Dodgers. So, Dave Roberts is going to have a tough time trying to figure out, you're probably only going to go, I guess if Sanchez goes, he's probably going to go 2 innings, right? Usually give 2 innings to the starter. But then,
Maybe.
But then you're going to go Miz, you could go Chase Burns, then you could go Logan Webb. You can, right here you can go. There's just so many ways you can go. You can throw in one of the young players, Max Meyer. Rodriguez, if the Diamondbacks having a good year, he's 7-2 with a 2.21 ERA. Obviously, Yamamoto, World Series. Logan Webb, established veteran. Chris Sale, if you need a big lefty for an inning.
It's all going to depend on when they pitched, especially the starters.
Right. Right. That could knock out
when
some
they
guys.
pitched and how many innings. That's why they're keeping as many pitchers as they are. So,
all right, it's Baker's first All-Star game. I'm seeing that, but I don't know what is first. It's not Dusty Baker. We know that, right? Yeah. All right, Tommy, found yourself on the injured list. Get help now. Call Wapner, Newman, Pennsylvania, New Jersey's premier medical malpractice and injury attorneys at 215-569-0900 or visit wapnernewman.com. All right, coming up. Before we go to break, Tommy, so what do you think? Now that you know the starters, now that you know the reserves, who are you giving the edge to?
I mean, obviously I'm from the National League, but looking at you, I just don't know who's playing for the American League out as far as hitters wise with Judge and Trout. Are they going to be playing or up to speed or whatever they need to be? So my edge is probably going in with the pitching and stuff. It's probably going National League. So.
I just think National League has too many wipeout pitchers, right? When you're facing the likes of Miz for however many innings, Sanchez for how many, the back end with Chase, they can throw Chase Burns, Chris Sale. There's so many good pitchers.
Yes.
Then every one of those bullpen guys is lights out. If you're facing Mason Miller, if the National League has a lead going into the 8th inning, again, you throw Duran the 8th, you throw Mason Miller in the 9th, lights out, right?
Yeah.
But who knows?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
all right.
I think, it's sort of lining up that way for the National Leagues, which is one of the pitching sort of holds that, and that's what it comes down to. If the pitching is ready to go and they're hitting on all cylinders, it's going to be tough.
Yep. All right. Coming up the show, we'll get you set up for today's game against Kansas City Royals. We'll get to the lineup. We'll also go through some of interesting things in baseball going on. All that, you're listening to BCWSA Utility Services Baseball Insider Show presented by Wapner Newman.
When everything's on the line, who do you want to take the last shot?
If you've been injured, call Wapner Newman.
Go with the heavy hitters.
Lawyers with the resources and experience to fight for you.
Win with Wapner.
The correct call.
This is Tommy Greene from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. BCWSA Utility Services wants to make sure you stay informed when it matters most. In rare situations like a water main break, boil water notice, or other service issues, BCWSA uses an emergency notification system to send alerts by phone, text, or email. But they can only reach you if your contact information is up to date. Visit bcwsa.net and click Update Your Contact Information to get started. BCWSA Utility Services.
You're sitting at a red light. Your phone buzzes. Direct deposit hit. You imagine what a little extra could do. Groceries covered. Weekend trip booked. Starting that someday fund. At Penn Community Bank, we know growth can look different, whether it's big plans or just a little breathing room. Right now, open a qualifying checking account with direct deposit and earn a $400 bonus. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/400bonus. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offer subject to change. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
All right. Once again, Tommy continues to play that great guitar, and we are back to the BCWSA Utility Services Baseball Insider Show presented by Wapner Newman. All right, Tommy, I know we went long in the last segment, so this is going to be a short one. But a couple things went on. Cody Clemens has had a home run in 3 straight games. He has 5 in his last 8 games. He's got 16 for the year. So Cody Clemens continually to get it done, which is good to see.
That's good to see, man. I'm happy for him.
How about St. Louis beat the Cubs 17-1 on Friday night? Former Mets pitcher David Peterson continued his struggles, gave up 10 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. Cardinals had 17 hits. Wynn, Church, and Torres all had home runs.
Hang with them.
How about the Cubs on Wednesday night beat the Padres 23-6? Dansby Swanson had 3 home runs, 8 RBI. Former Phillies pitcher, briefly, Walker Buehler, went 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 9 earned runs, 4 walks, 3 home runs. So
welcome back to reality for him.
Right. They had a pitcher. The Padres had a pitcher hard. He gave up 6 runs. They put their reserve catcher in. Duran gave up 8 runs, 8 home runs by the Cubs. It was a 3-game sweep by the Cubs, who outscored the Padres 35-12. Padres are scuffling. And you thought, that team, it's got so much talent with Machado and Tatis.
That's the epitome of on paper, you look like Superman or the Greek god, but you have to go out there and play the baseball games.
Yep. Red Sox and Nationals got into a scuffle on Tuesday night. Cade Cavalli for the Nats struck out Wilson Contreras in the 4th, and then he yelled, "Sit down, boy," which didn't go over very well, and Contreras threw his helmet at him. They all got suspended. A bunch of guys got suspended from that game. Pretty crazy. So, all right, let's go to the lineup. We got the lineup for today against the Kansas City Royals. And this is, again, we won the first game, and here we have a pretty predictable lineup. Although we've got Trey Turner leading off, playing shortstop, Kyle Schwarber DHing, batting second, Bryce Harper batting third, first base, Brandon Marsh batting fourth, left field, Alec Boehm batting fifth, third base, Bryson Stott batting sixth, second base, Gabriel Rincones Jr. batting seventh, playing right field, Justin Crawford batting eighth, center field, and Garrett Stubbs, the party starter at catcher.
Yeah, we got the Stubby in there, man.
Batting ninth, Aaron Nola hoping to turn it around pitching. So that's we have a pretty good. I know, Chris Ermy, I know you have the stat as far as the starters record for the Phillies, which is pretty impressive when you see it. But we're hoping that Nola can turn around after that rough game. He's got it in him, Tommy. But if you look at this stat, now again, I think this was a week ago, but the Phils were 21-5 in games started by Sanchez, Wheeler, and Luzardo since the date Wheeler was activated. Now I think there's those stats might have been elevated a little bit. It might have been like 23-5. But it just shows you that what I said earlier is we have one of the top 3 pitchers when you go
top 1, 2, 3s in baseball.
Unbelievable. So we need Nola to really turn around today to get the Phils on a little run here, because they're going to start getting into the Yankees and Dodgers. Their schedule gets pretty tough. But Tommy, in a city of champions, you deserve champion legal representation. Wapner Newman is Pennsylvania and New Jersey's premier medical malpractice and injury attorneys. Call 215-569-0900 or visit WapnerNewman.com. Tommy, that wraps up today's BCWSA Utility Services Baseball Insider Show presented by Wapner Newman. I'd like to thank my coach today, Tommy Greene. Thanks to our producer, Chris Ermer, Joe Wechter. And thank you for listening. We're going to be back next Sunday for the Phillies take on a star-studded Detroit Tigers. Until then, have a great week. And as the late, great Harry the K says,
we're out of here.